All right, so we've talked about what's working, what's not working, what tools are we using. The last one is, we've got two options. One, who's doing it right? And I know you all come from companies, brands, if you will, that are doing it right. Are there any other case studies that you're seeing that say, hey, we saw this other company, not in our industry, but they're doing social right, or they had this one case study of this one thing, either blew up in their face, or it's a great example of how they apologized and got it right? Sarah, you want to start? Looks like you have one.
Yeah, I do. I actually have two examples. So the first one is just a personal favorite of mine because I'm obsessed with this company, but it's Eat24. I hate cooking and I can't cook, and so I order in food a lot. They do a great job of really making their brand's voice consistent over all of their different channels. So on Twitter and Facebook, their commercials even are hilarious. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they really like dedicate themselves to this kind of snarky voice. And they also are super quick about responding to consumers who tweet at them or who post stuff on Facebook. And that I feel just builds engagement and builds, people are feeling like they're being heard by a company, and so they're more likely to engage with them in the future. So that's one. And a second one is the airline KLM did this really awesome thing where it was called KLM Surprise, where they monitored Twitter and Foursquare to see tweets and stuff from people who are flying on their airline and who are waiting in the airport waiting for their flights. And they found like a person, then they did a little bit of background searching on them, little Facebook stalking to see like where they were going or why they were going to the certain place. And then they bought them like a little present based on what that was or where they were going. And then they actually tracked them down in the terminal and gave them this thing. And so not only is that like, that would build brand loyalty for me if like somebody from an airline came and gave me a present. I'd be like,
or it would
awesome.
creep me out.
It would partially creep me out, but whatever.
No,
we work in social
great.
media. We creep. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so that builds brand loyalty. But the really great thing that I think that they did is they videoed all of that and then they put it out over their own social channels. So it got somebody like me who's never flown on KLM in my life interested in their brand, and I watched their video and I shared it and I tweeted at them. So I think that they did a really, really stellar job with that campaign.
All right, I'll call out two people up here that I think are doing a good job, and then I'll talk about. I'm sure the third one is too, but I only have two. And then there's another brand outside of this room that I think is doing really well. So I bitched recently to Time Warner Cable on Twitter. And they were on it. The person didn't know how to resolve my issue, but there was clearly a queue in place. And they got me the right person, and they got me offline quick, so I stopped complaining.
We do have the ability to roll trucks. I mean, we can roll trucks out from social media. It's all there. It's not just, and if they can't help you, they'll put you in touch with someone, and we'll get a truck to your place. Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So I was impressed by that. That was a good example of a really clean system. Farmers has a really nice integration with video content and social media going on right now that I looked at yesterday with some of our partners at YouTube. 15-second farmers educational videos, 15 seconds.
15 seconds is smart.
15 seconds of smart. Nobody watches video for more than 14 and a half seconds. It's just you just don't do that on social media anymore. And these guys have gotten quick, bite-sized, snack-sized information that makes me feel a little bit smarter, gives me something to talk about the next day, gives me something to impress my friends with, and allows me to search very specifically for an answer. So they're boosting SEO as well, so I thought that was cool. From a content perspective on Facebook, I think Starbucks is really cool, and I think Coffee Bean is doing a really nice job. My rule with content on Facebook, my rule with creative on Facebook is that it just simply needs to look like the awesomest Instagram photo that any of your friends uploaded all day. If you migrate too far away from that, it's just going to make people frustrated because you're serving them an ad in the middle of their fun social media experience, and they just want to enjoy themselves and not be marketed to. Unless you're so flagrant about marketing that it becomes funny again. Think Old Spice. Starbucks has a way of really catching the seasonality, catching the feeling and the sentiment of what's going on right now, and throwing a little Starbucks cup in that picture. Going back to school, we know how it feels. $3, Starbucks cup, and you're like, I've been there. And then you scroll through and you like it and you move on with your day. Those are the three that I can think of right now.
I also have a Time Warner story. When I was moving at the beginning of the summer, I was so frustrated with all the utilities accounts that I had to like close and open and move, and I just tweeted, why can't I set up my Time Warner cable via Twitter? And I absolutely could. So like within the hour they had contacted me, took it offline. Someone called me directly. I didn't even have to call and go through the system. And I got my cable set up, they waived the setup fee, and I was done like that. It was the easiest thing, and it was just because I was frustrated and tweeted about it. But I tweeted probably the main Time Warner handle, and then the regional one and the Time Warner Help followed me immediately and got in contact with me.
They'll find you.
But as far as a brand that I feel like does a good job on social across multiple channels is Nordstrom, and they really bring their customer service values to social as well and do a very good job there. They're very engaging, not just when it's a service issue, but just I actually happen to tweet about Nordstrom a lot because I shop at Nordstrom a lot and buy too much stuff there. So they interact with me a lot on Twitter, and they always are very helpful too. Like I had tweeted that I had some Nordstrom rewards dollars that were expiring and I was going to go spend them, and they said, oh, by the way, remember that you can buy a gift card with these and then your gift card doesn't expire, which was information I absolutely needed right then and did not know. But they also do, from a business perspective, they're doing a phenomenal job of using Facebook ad retargeting. And because as I mentioned, I shop at Nordstrom a lot, I see Nordstrom ads on my Facebook all the time, but it's exactly stuff that I want to see because they're retargeting me. They know what I've seen on their website. Clearly I'm interested in those shoes because I looked at them 2 times in the past month on their websites. I don't know that I have clicked on their ads. I don't know that I've bought anything, but it certainly keeps Nordstrom top of mind for me, and they're doing a good job with their retargeting buys on Facebook. They also are doing a very good job on Pinterest, which I don't see the service piece as much on Pinterest, but they're doing a better product and sales sort of push on Pinterest. And then a company recently that I've taken note of on Facebook that I feel like is doing well is Fast Company. And one thing that we have discovered through our reporting is that text status updates get a higher reach, but they do not get higher engagement. So more people will see them, but less people will engage with them, at least for us. But I think that our analyst in doing some research was finding out that this is maybe true for other companies as well. And what Fast Company does is they'll take an excerpt from the article and they'll include the link, a short link. They'll delete the link preview and not include a photo. So it reads to Facebook as a text status update. And I see tons of them from Fast Company, but they're also doing a very good job of curating their own content. So I probably click on 2 Fast Company articles a day, which for me is very high to click on links out of my Facebook feed. And they're always interesting and relevant. I don't notice them as much on Twitter, but I feel like they're using Facebook very well. And it's only been within the last couple months because I know I've been following Fast Company for a long time and have only in the past couple months started clicking on their stuff.
Very cool. Kelsey, you want to give us an example?
So I won't give a Time Warner Cable example, but thank you all for throwing that in there. It just for I think all of us in this room, it's really just a sign of the times. We are relying on social media for things that we never would have thought we would rely on it for. But I did want to talk about a couple of other brands. I'm in the cable industry and I get every single channel that there is for free, and I never used to watch TV and now I watch it all the time. But I think one thing that really works for certain brands is if you're watching Bravo, there is a hashtag at the bottom right screen of every single show, every single time. And sometimes they have the scrolls, they have all that going, and to me it's just something that's so genius because all the different shows have different hashtags. And they use it on Instagram, they use it on Twitter, they talk about it consistently and constantly. And I mean, people, it's like you want to be part of the show. It's like being on the people's couch. And it really does.
A little plug for all of you that haven't tweeted yet today. We have an
Yes.
TV show right here in front of you.
So, I mean, it's just, if you're sitting somewhere and you're watching something, you're going to be like, I cannot believe she said that hashtag. You know, it just works. And I have friends that don't even tweet about things that I think are important, but they will surely tweet about the Real Housewives. So I think that is just a different type of phenomenon altogether. And it depends. It's like shows are cults. You know, Scandal has the biggest, I mean, their hashtags on Thursday nights are huge. One example that I wanted to talk about, I mean, I deal with a lot of crisis communication, and we do get complaints from big-time celebrities. Big-time celebrities. I mean, Ariana Huffington has complained. We've had Patrick Stewart reach out to us. I mean, it's just, we really do get that feedback, not just from all of our customers, but we treat all of our customers equally. One of the things that I thought American Airlines handled really well, and I have to look down at my notes just because I want to make sure I don't say anything incorrectly, but Alec Baldwin refused to turn off his mobile device. I guess now that's not really a problem, but it was a big blow up. He tweeted about it. In the beginning, it seemed that everybody was on his side, and everybody was like, oh, it's such a pain. Well, the crisis communications team with American Airlines, you know, their social media team got together, rallied up, and they basically put together a really good campaign and a number of talking points that said, hey, this applies to everybody. You know, just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean that you're the exception. And it kind of changed perspective along the social sphere, saying, okay, that's right. You know, just because, you know, we're all following FAA rules. Same thing, you know, with any other organization. So
what
I thought.
What was the tweet they sent out? Do you remember what that was?
It basically said, well, he has 5 million. So there said, let me see if I wrote it down. That the celebrity that did not want to get off the plane was scrutinized. That AA was merely following FAA rules that applied to everyone, Baldwin included. So they did kind of put the actual situation at hand. It just applies to everybody. And
there was some humor in it too, that wasn't there?
A little bit, and
a little bit of humor in it.
I'm a big fan of that. I mean, I don't know if another thing that was really, and this may or may not be, this is just another funny thing that I think works. There was 2 DJs that are kind of popular, not really popular, and I think it was like Tiesto or Cascade, but one of them was leaving the LAX airport and was like, and this has to do with the Dodgers, and I thought this was so funny, so funny. One of the DJs was like, oh, leaving LA, like he was like throwing his like Dodgers hat in the trash, or he's like, can't wait to like leave Dodgers territory. And then the Dodgers replied and said, it's cool, we like Cascade better anyways. So it was a ballsy thing to do.
Yeah.
It was I mean, that took guts, but I thought it was really funny. And if the day ever comes where I can do that, I'd be so happy. Like Zach Galifianakis complaining about CBS, and I'm like, you don't even have a show right now, so what are you gonna do, dude? So yeah, those are my good examples.